Dave Mulvaney here. Today we're going to cover third base. What I like about third base is where everything comes together. It's where you as a rep have you've now gone from first base, building rapport and trust with the prospect. Second base, where you do a survey, you continue to build that rapport and trust. And now we've compiled everything in the job tool, and here we are at third base. This is where we have the biggest potential to get paid. But mind you, that potential began at first base. So let's go through the steps of what you're going to do at third base. First, again, as we mentioned on first base, home base, throughout this entire training, we want you to be branded. You should be proud to represent V-Blox. You need to dress for success. It doesn't mean you have to, have a three-piece suit on. You need to dress to the client that you're going to be seeing. That's why it's important to know your prospect. I need you to have a positive mental attitude. That should be easy. These are the easy things, but you need to work hard. You need to work smart. And this is part of delivering 2 to 3 proposals each and every week. And this is part of being teachable. You want to, continue to learn. So the diamond itself, again, first base was about building rapport and trust and showing the presentation, and second base was the survey and getting the power history and the job tool, and then making that appointment for third base. But today, third base, we're going to cover reestablishing rapport, reviewing any upfront agreements or verbal contracts you might have had with them. You're going to present the proposal. You're going to close. You're going to talk about rebates and maybe even the TO. The TO will cover in another short video as well, but you're going to explain the process. So remember, what business are you in? You're not in the LED business. We don't sell lights. So when a prospect may give you some pushback on third base that, hey, I saw these lights, online, or I saw this. You're going to explain to them, look, our focus is on reducing maintenance costs and reducing downtime and having less frequent replacements of the equipment in your building. And we're going to maintain all of that in a system that it pays through itself. So they're cutting your energy costs, not just energy savings, but energy cost. And you know by now what makes up your energy cost. We're here to be an energy solution for you, and I'm a specialist at doing it. So the baseball diamond, here we are on third base. So here's where we're going to present the proposal. Now, it's very important that you've got all the decision makers here at this time, because you need to have the ability to get a yes, if that's possible. If you have new decision makers that weren't there with you on first base, at this point you have to go through the presentation again. You have to let them know what their partner got to see. So you're going to go through the first base presentation again, but let's assume for the sake of discussion that all decision makers are present. They were there in the first base meeting. You built more rapport and trust. So we're gonna reestablish that rapport and trust with the prospect. We're gonna review any upfront agreements that we might have had. Hey, I had asked you to do some research on us online. Have you done that? Have you done your due diligence on V-Blox? Are all the decision makers present? Are you prepared to make a decision today if the numbers are good? Bob, you had told me if I could deliver you an ROI in under 36 months, that I'd have the ability to earn your business. Are you prepared to make a decision today? And I want to get that answer right then on third base. If I've already built rapport and trust, again, show the presentation again. If all of those who are there did not get to see the presentation at first base, this is important. They need to know what it is that we do. And rather than just presenting numbers where they might have questions, let's go through that. I'm going to show them the Cool Pro EM web portal as part of my third base presentation. This lets them see and picture all of their HVAC units all on one screen and perhaps multiple locations. They can look at their energy use. I'm not going to spend more than 5 or 10 minutes going through the web portal. You contact Chris in our office, and he'll get you the guest login. But you want to go and go through the guest login. I want to review any of the prospect's pain. and get them to verbalize it. If I've gone through second base on a survey with, let's say their head of maintenance, their director of maintenance, uh, and that director of maintenance has now told me other things about maintaining their lighting or maintaining their HVAC, if they've given you information that pertains to pain that perhaps the CFO or the CEO or the president that they don't know about, well, I'm going to allow the person who was with me on second base to deliver that pain to their coworkers and their bosses. I'm going to allow them to deliver that pain because the message coming from them is going to be far better than coming from me or far better than coming from you. So, but it's a great way to use the power of third parties to present that pain. So in many cases, even if there's a disconnect between departments, that internal employee can, convey that message better. I want to overcome their objections at this step. This is a big, important aspect of selling is truly knowing what you do well enough. And when you're building rapport and trust, the prospect wants to know that you have their answers. And if you do have them, the old adage, if I don't have that answer, I'll get it for you. In today's day and age, I want you to get on that phone at that moment in time with Doug or Lee or myself or Daryl or Scott or Chris. I want you to get on the phone, which is what we call a TO, and I want you to call somebody and let's get that answer now. I mean, this is the instantaneous world we live in. If you're out with your buddies and one of your buddies is BSing you, man, you look in your phone and you're going to Google it and you're going to call them out on it right away. I mean, this day and age, it's instant information. The old saying, I'll get you an answer, not in this day and age, man. Pick up the phone and call one of us. Do a TO. That's called a turnover. We're going to do an individual section on TOs. But the reality is, get on the phone, answer those objections right now. It's critical. It's critical. If it's critical enough for you to get them the answer, they'll understand the close is just that critical. So then I'm going to present the proposals. I'm going to have enough copies for all decision makers and a copy for myself. Your copy can be in black and white, but all the prospects, they all get color copies, professionally bound. If you don't have a binding machine and a color printer, a laser color printer, I want you to go spend the money at Kinko's and get it done right. It'll pay for itself in just a few good proposals. You'll never have to worry about that again. But you need to, by having our quality materials professionally printed, it'll present an image that says, hey, we know what we're doing. We can save you a lot of money, and we're not going to skimp, a few dollars on giving you a cheap proposal. It's very important in terms of the way your prospect is going to receive that proposal. But when you're on third base, you need to have control. You need to have control of the process. You're going to take them through each page individually. When I go through it, I'm going to go through what makes up your electrical cost. It's not just your electric bill or your gas bill. It's lighting replacements and HVAC repairs. It's storage cost. All of these things, people on ladders and lifts, all of these things make up your energy cost. On the next page, I'm going to give them their 5-year budget. I'm going to show them that, hey, whether we do business or not, this is what you're going to spend on electricity. This is straight off your electric bills. Last 12 months, this is what you spent. You're going to spend this amount over 5 years, provided the utility company doesn't change your rates. That's what you're going to spend on electricity if you're going to be in business. This is what you're spending now on lights and maintaining those lights in your facility. This is a big number here. Here's what we can do for you. We can save you on energy costs and lighting. We can save you on HVAC. We can save you on lights and replacements. We got some tax savings. All of this is going to save you a good amount of money over the next 5 years, and it's only going to cost you this much to get there. So I'm going to show them that page. It takes away the sticker shock of maybe looking at a $50,000 system when their budget might be $150,000 or $200,000 over that same 5-year period of time. Take away that sticker shock. That's why we lay out our job tool and our proposal the way we do. It's well thought out. We understand what we're doing, and you've got to have control of the process. I want them to understand the numbers. That's why we lay it out the way we do. We take them through that first page. Then we help them understand their savings. This is what your utility bill is. This is what you're spending now. These are what your lights are. This is how many hours a week they run. Your utility rate is this. This is what it's costing you to maintain them. You're laying out the entire reason to buy, and you're going to show them that all the way through the job tool. Once you've taken them through, I'm at the point of, look, these numbers look fantastic. It's time to ask for the purchase. So if I know the numbers look real good, I'm going to convey that. And normally the numbers look really good. So you need to convey that. And then I'm going to work to try to close the sale. The thermometer close. You can use all these different closes. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you, Bob? The assumptive close. Bob, you told me that if I could get you the ROI, well, here it is. I mean, the real question now, Bob, is it a lease or are you paying cash? Sometimes it's, well, Bob, you said, if the numbers on the lights made more sense than the HVAC, you'd just do the lights. Well, I've broke this down for you. I've got the cost of the lights here. Of course, we got the maintenance side of that, and we're protecting that from lightning and surges, and that's one price. But you also said you needed some help on your HVAC. Ask for the order. It's critical. Using a time-sensitive rebate is a time-sensitive being the critical word. If it's not time-sensitive, it's just a discount. And if it's just a discount, they're not in a hurry. You need to have some things with an expiration date on it that you say, this is the date of that discount, or this is the date of that rebate. That's the day it ends. It's a special incentive, and it's only going to be open until X date. It works. Again, I said earlier about the TO. It's called a turnover. You're bringing someone else into that close. If you're unable to close it, use the TO. Call someone else. If there is any questions out on the table, call someone else. Get the agreement signed. Give the customer a copy. Fill out the credit app for them. Don't ask them to fill it out for you. Ask them to fill out. You start filling out the credit app. But if you ask them to fill it out, they'll say, yeah, I'll get to that tomorrow. And now you're delaying before you get a check. If they're going to be paying cash, is there any reason I can't get a check to get this thing going today? That's a quick and easy. That's an assumptive close. Is there any reason you said you're going to pay cash? Is there any reason we can't get this thing done today? We want to clear those details. So now you've hit a home run. So now it's time to explain the process. Okay, they've now purchased. Now you want to explain the process. So in order to know the V-Blox unique process and explain it, you have to know it like the back of your hand, which is why we'll have a training video audio just on the unique process, not a long, but a short one. Now, then you're going to turn on all documents, and then we got to get the contact info to V-Blox of all the decision makers. Those are going to be involved in the installation. Are there any foot candle requirements? Then there may need to be a foot candle report, which you'll learn more about that when you're out training. But then we're going to assign a project manager. That project manager may need to contact you, but you're not running the project. We've got project managers who are going to handle the project start to finish, but that project manager is certainly going to want you to stay in contact with your prospect, continue to talk to them, continue to build rapport. So, one of the things at this point is certainly, if there's any pushback, any objections, you've got to be able to, be empathetic, not sympathetic, but empathetic with them. It's sometimes I like to repeat a question in a different manner, which is paraphrasing, but either way, you're repeating their words. Provide feedback about what I like to use third parties. Like if a prospect feels a certain way, I like to say, you know what, we had a similar situation at XYZ dealership, and we had some issues under the canopy. We made it right, and there'll be a customer of ours forever. So these are things that we want you to really to I think to be a good closer, you have to be a really good listener. Some things to overcoming objections. Um, a lot of our job tool and our proposal is made to really overcome objections. So one of the biggest questions prospects used to give me was, how will I know how much I'm saving? Well, and that's when I explained to them, our unique process eliminates all doubt. And here's how it works. You got to be able to explain to them that we're going to meter the equipment. We're going to, we're going to, once we install our energy management equipment, we're going to create a baseline. I'm going to know how much your air conditioner runs on nights and on weekends. I'm going to know how much your heating runs. I'm going to know what your parking lot uses. Those are things that are part of the unique process. You need to know it. I've seen LED lights for less money. You know what, Bob? I see you sell embroidered clothing. Wouldn't you agree that not all companies are the same? These are just some things that you can respond. You need to know these objections. The real reasons. There's 3 reasons a customer says no. They don't understand the product or our process. They don't believe it'll work. They believe they can't afford it. But ultimately, all of that boils down to trust. Those are 3 things that they don't understand, or they don't believe. So you have to realize that all selling on third base happens on first base, and that comes when the client trusts you. And like we said at first base, if somebody likes you, they'll listen to you. If they listen to you, they'll believe you. If they'll believe you, they'll trust you. And if they trust you, they might buy from you. That's the key to winning under the V-Blox system. Thank you.